Hey guys, so today I wanted to make a video about the features that you can expect Shopify to implement in this upcoming year. Recently, Shopify had their Shopify Unite 2021 event. And Shopify Unite is this yearly event where Shopify unveils new features that it's going to implement each year and sort of explains a little bit of their thought process behind why they're implementing the features and what the features are. So without further ado, I'm going to sort of break up this video into two separate sections. The first is going to be the features that are going to impact storefront owners or Shopify store owners. And the second part is going to be features that are going to impact developers. And so for the third and final part of the video, I want to focus on my take on the features and as a Shopify developer, what I personally think about Shopify's direction and mission and the features that they're implementing. So probably the biggest feature that Shopify unveiled is what they're calling Online Store 2.0. And so they themselves said this was, quote, the biggest and boldest update that they've ever made to their storefront. And the primary change with this feature is that sections, so the things that in the Shopify editor you're clicking and dragging and putting on your page, right? Those sections are now going to not just be meant for your home page exclusively, they're going to also be everywhere on your store, right? This means you're going to be able to customize your collections, your product pages, basically any other page on your site. I'm super, I'm obviously really amped about this feature. I think it's going to make it really easy for people who don't know how to code to really customize the look and their feel of their site just much more. And it's going to give entrepreneurs and store owners much more control over the way that they can build out their site's story. So the other feature coming with Online Store 2.0 is Shopify. It already has this. It has these things called meta fields, and I've actually done a video on this where you can attach certain data to customers or certain data to products that isn't already. It doesn't have like a nice, neat sort of place to put it into Shopify's backend right now or the admin right now, but you can still actually store that data through with Shopify's database. You just need to use meta fields. Currently, the only way to access meta fields is either using an app or there's sort of a hacky way that I have, I've explained in another video where you can sort of interface with the site's URL to bring up your Shopify's site's bulk editor and then edit specific meta fields for different products or customers or what have you. But one of the cool things about Online Store 2.0 is now Shopify is actually including that ability to edit meta fields in the admin. So in your store's product or whatever, like on your store and you go to your products or whatever, you're going to be able to directly customize meta fields with whatever products. This is going to make it really convenient for store owners to store data for their products that they hadn't previously been able to. And then the other thing is it's going to make it much easier for developers if they need to store some sort of piece of data with a customer or a product and access that data on the front end of the site. It's just going to make that much smoother. And you're going to have certain things that before, if you didn't want to screw with meta fields, like you would have had to use an app, but now you're not going to have to use an app. So the second big feature that Shopify touched on at Unite was what they're calling, it's their newest theme, and it's what they're calling their Dawn theme, right? And so they're saying that this theme is basically, it's going to implement all these Online Store 2.0 changes, right? So it's going to have the ability to do all that customization. It's going to have the ability to do those meta fields that I was talking about earlier. And it's also going to be what they said is going to be their most performant theme ever. So the other cool thing about this theme is it's open source. So right now you could go on GitHub, on Shopify's GitHub, and download the theme code and upload it to your site. As far as using the Shopify 2.0 storefront, okay, so now we're going to get into the part of the video where I'm going to be talking about sort of features that are going to be important for developers or important to know for developers. So the first of this is that I was so happy to hear is Shopify is going to make it much easier to connect a version control system to like Git to your Shopify store's code. Right. And so like when you're developing a website, right, you obviously want the ability to roll back changes. You want to test stuff. You want to see if you don't want to break stuff while you're testing stuff. So you want to have these versions that you can roll back to. And Git is a great version control system for managing that, and it's sort of the industry standard. And so it's great that Shopify is embracing that. These are quick features. They said, I heard talk that they were saying that the rendering engine for the website is going to be up to 5 times faster. We'll have to see if that's actually true in practice. 5 times increase in speed would be very impressive, obviously. What else do we have? We have they've also said that now you're going to be able to integrate apps that you create with your store's the store that you're working on, their checkout, right? So before, Shopify was very sort of protective over the checkout of the store. Once you got to checkout, there was no real way to sort of add extra, allow the customer to add extra information or get extra information from the customer. And Shopify said that was for security purposes. And I think, if you paid for like Shopify Plus or whatever, then you could the checkout code was opened up to you, and then you could work with that. But you don't have to do that anymore because they're making it possible for you to basically inject an app into the checkout page. So this next feature I'm obviously very happy about, and Shopify developers everywhere should be super happy about. So we have this 0% revenue share on your first $1 million that you make on either from selling Shopify themes or selling Shopify apps, right? And so this is sort of unprecedented with app stores, right? Like usually, I think Apple collects like 20% or something, and Shopify used to collect 20%. They're reducing that to 15%, but the big thing and the feature that I was highlighting earlier is literally the first $1 million you make, they're not collecting a single penny of that, right? There's going to be, obviously, you're still going to have to pay like credit card transaction fees and stuff like that, but other than that, Shopify is not taking 15% or 20% off the top of that. And then the final thing to look out for, guys, if you're a developer, is Shopify said that this is coming later. It's not ready right now. But there's this thing called Shopify Hydrogen, and it's basically an alternate sort of storefront that you're going to be able to hook up with your site. And it allows you to use, I think they were saying, allows you to use Node.js sort of with the storefront. And if that's like your preferred way of coding things, then you're free to do it that way. You can also have one set up for just the regular shop or the online store 2.0. But they said that's not coming until later 2021. If you guys check out the demo in the actual Shopify Unite presentation, it was fairly impressive. They were doing this demo with these snowboards, and they were able to like rotate them around and whatnot. It was a really impressive demonstration. So finally, my take on all this is I am very happy to be a Shopify developer right now. I think Shopify is listening to store owners. It's listening to developers. And I love that, right? That they're actually listening and they're implementing the feedback that they're getting. And the other thing that I love is that if you look at Shopify, right? Shopify as a company has, it's the dominant e-commerce platform, I would say, right? And yet, even though they are so dominant, they're not sitting back and like resting on their laurels, right? They're still investing in infrastructure, right? And the investment towards infrastructure, in my mind, from what I've seen, is really, and from what they've been saying, is very geared towards both developers and store owners, right? They've taken a philosophy where they say, we're all in this together, and when you prosper, we prosper, right? And I think that you hear companies say that all the time, but I think with Shopify, it really is true, right? The longer you run your store and the more successful you are with your store, the more successful I am as a developer, right? The more money that they're making off of people's subscription fees, the more money they're making off of people buying apps or themes from their store. So my take on this is that every feature that I highlighted here, I'm super happy about, and we're gonna have to see how they are in practice, obviously, but I would definitely say that I am more than cautiously optimistic about this. So that's the video, guys. If you want to subscribe to my channel, what I do here is I talk about Shopify stuff. I do coding tutorials for Shopify. I also do some app reviews. All of my subscribers are automatically entered in a weekly random selection where I give a person a free consultation as far as the digital marketing goes is on their site. So if you're interested in that, like, make sure you subscribe. If this video helped you, be sure to leave a like. And if you have, comments about videos you'd want to see in the future, or comments about anything that I discuss in the video, just leave those in the comment section. And I will see you in the next one, guys.